Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Audi A5 car. Related to the Audi A4, the Audi A5 is an attractive proposition for those young at heart and who value appearance more than functionality. Interest in the car is currently very high. The question remains, which version is best to choose? Audi, wanting to enter the less classic D segment, offered customers two sporty versions of the A4, the A5 Coupe and the A5 Sportback. The latter debuted only 2 years after the premiere of the A4 and A5 Coupe. In this way, an Audi for young people, even in spirit, appeared on the market. Technically, the Audi A5 is exactly the same car as the A4 B8, with more drive variants offered for the A5. For example, the 1.8 TFSI engine, which was available in 5 versions, while in the A4 only in 3. The same can be said about the 2.0 TDI diesel. In the A5 there were 10 variants, in the A4 8. It is also worth emphasizing that this diesel appeared in the A5 only from the 2008 model year in the 170 horsepower version, and the others joined successively from 2010. It can therefore be assumed that the A5 has more refined and most of the flaws-free 2.0 TDI diesels. Of course, customers initially chose rather powerful versions of this car. When it comes to petrol engines, the 2.0 TFSI caused a sensation. In the diesel range, the 2-liter engine also became the king. The first ones are different. Some complain about high oil consumption, others do not. A lot depends on how the first owner treated the car in the initial period of use. Durability also depends on tuning. The 2.0 TFSI is an engine very susceptible to tuning. If you want to buy a sure thing, the best choice is naturally aspirated units. The 3.2 FSI engine is not very popular, but its power of 256 horsepower, developed more harmoniously than in the 2.0 TFSI, is at least satisfactory. The engine has virtually no serious problems. Sometimes the ignition system fails. The same can be said about the 4.2 engine in the S5 model. There is also a 3.0 TFSI to choose from, more problem-free than the 2.0, and at the same time much more powerful. The riskiest units are the 1.8 TFSI petrol and the 3.0 TDI diesel, if neglected. The first one does not offer good performance, burns the same amount of fuel as the 2.0 TFSI, usually even more oil. Should you be afraid of the 2.0 TFSI? Not necessarily. However, before buying, I recommend visiting a workshop that deals with these engines. The 3-liter diesel is generally a good design, but its biggest problem is the timing drive. If it turns out that it needs to be replaced, a good alternative to this engine might be the slightly easier to handle 2.7 TDI. It is also worth mentioning the automatic transmissions. In some versions, it was the traditional Tiptronic, in others the double-clutch S-tronic, and in still others the continuously variable Multitronic. The first transmission is the best choice, but it was only offered for the S5 with the V8 engine. On the other hand, S-tronic and Multitronic can generate similar repair costs. Automatic gearboxes in the Audi A5, Tiptronic, 4.2, FSI, S5, S-tronic, 2.0 TFSI, 211 and 224 horsepower, Quattro, 3.0 TFSI, 4.2 FSI RS5, 2.0 TDI, 177 and 190 horsepower, Quattro, 3.0 TDI, 218, 240 and 245 horsepower. Multitronic, 1.8 TFSI, 2.0 TFSI with front-wheel drive, 3.2 FSI with front-wheel drive, all diesels with front-wheel drive, even taking into account the fact that all manual gearboxes now feature a dual-mass flywheel, manual is still the safest choice in the Audi A5. Of course, in classic Audi style, the multi-link front suspension is made of aluminum. The car has been well made and protected against corrosion. As for the electrics, the main problem is the engine sensors and the electric parking brake. The equipment generally works well. When buying an Audi A5, you have to reckon with the high risk of buying a neglected car. The costs of servicing and maintenance are not low either. With the debut of the Audi A4 B8 and Audi A5 8T, the times of refined Audi models that were cheap to maintain are gone. Although it should be noted that many people who bought well-maintained cars do not complain. Audi A5 8T typical faults: sensor failures and high oil consumption in 4-cylinder TFSI engines, typical diesel faults in the 2.0 TDI engine, stretching timing chain in TFSI and 6-cylinder TDI engines, multi-tronic automatic transmission failures, tronic automatic transmission failures, steaming headlights and burnt-out diodes in the lights, electric parking brake failures. What to look for? The best are naturally aspirated petrol engines. Even if they are more expensive to insure and burn more fuel, they usually last a long time and don't surprise you with breakdowns. What to avoid? 1.8 TFSI versions and the suspiciously cheap 2.7 and 3.0 TDI. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to write about them in the comments.